x-intercepts. This is like in particular thinking about WMAP for the day 2, starting questions 22 through the end of the assignment. So at 3, 0, we want to know, what does the graph look like? So we're going to look at the equation and find out which of those factors is going to give us the x-intercept at 3. It's going to be this one. 3 minus 3 would give us 0, right? And so in order to determine what shape the graph is going to make, we need to look at the multiplicity of that factor. So the multiplicity is 2, which is an even number. And we're going to look at some graphs here in a minute. But the other intercept here says what's going on at 4, 0, what's the shape of the graph there? So 4 is going to come from this factor, because 4 minus 4 is going to give us 0 for that part. And the multiplicity here is 5, which is odd. Okay, so let's take a look what happens if we were to change the multiplicity. So I've got that same equation typed. Can't see it because my maybe you can see it. So there's the same equation, and then I've got the same equation with restricted domain, just to do an overlay so that we can see the shape of the graph at that intercept. So let's look first at 3. So I've got right here, just this area surrounding the x-intercept is highlighted in blue or purple or whatever color that is. And so that is making a U shape right here, right? We're only looking at what the graph is doing as it passes through this x-intercept. We're not interested in this stuff over here where the graph is connecting from one intercept to the next. That's always going to look like a U, because in order to get from one part of the graph where there's an x-intercept and then come back to the x-axis again, the graph's going to have to turn around and make a U shape, right? So that's always going to happen. That's not what we're talking about. Only thing we want to look at is what's happening right as the graph is passing through that x-intercept. And so if I were to change the multiplicity from a 2 to 3, now we can see the shape that the graph is making as it goes through that point is now different. It's not making a U shape, it's making an S shape. If I zoom in, you can see that better, right? So now it's an S shape because I've changed the multiplicity from an even 2 to an odd 3. I'm going to put this back to match the equation we're looking at. And then let's look what's going on at 4. Okay, so there we go. So at 4, here's our x-intercept at 4, and the graph is making this S shape because for the factor that gives us the x-intercept at 4, it has an odd multiplicity. If I was to change this 5 to a different multiplicity, like let's say 4, I'm going to do that in both places. Now we can see it's making a U shape as it passes through that x-intercept because 4 is an even number. Anytime we want to know what the shape of the graph is, we got to figure out which factor is giving us that x-intercept and what is the multiplicity on that factor.